Hello, Internet. I'm back again. I know. I'm sorry. Been taking a lot of notes, listening to a lot of comments. Gonna try my best on this one to not talk over the guest, not get too excited, and not drink. Okay, maybe I failed at the first part, and I think the get excited part, gonna kind of fail at that too, because look who's here. Shawn Bassett, how are you, sir? And look at this. Guy wants to hang with me today.
Cheers, big ears.
We're gonna do a proper one here.
Hello there, fellow automotive enthusiasts. You happen to be watching this and thinking, man, instead of all this talking, sure would like to see some burnouts, maybe a jump or two. Hell, maybe someone's car catch on fire. Well, you're in luck, because we have our channel, Daily Transmission, the channel. It's where we have all that other fun stuff, like burnouts, jumps, smashes, crashes, wall taps, people hitting K-rails, people hitting Winnebagos. All the fun destruction you've come to love from Hoonigan content is all in one place. So, head on over to Daily Transmission channel, subscribe to that so you can see all the fun and not have to listen to Nads keep talking. Anyway, back to Nads talking.
Okay, first of all, what are you even doing here? As we film this, you're coming from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, it was a journey.
We're here in Long Beach, and you gotta get right back out to a little something called Global Time Attack at, where is that?
Road Atlanta.
I don't know nothing about geography, but I just don't think you didn't take the most direct route from Orlando to Road Atlanta.
We took the long way.
And we're super appreciative of that because we get to see this. Doesn't look like a time attack car because people don't time attack a Z.
For a good reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what made you get a Z?
I was at a track day. It was a mix between road course and autocross. On the road course, there was a little 240Z. It was bone stock on slicks and coilovers, and he was smoking everyone. And I've always been a fan of 240Zs, but that like really put it over the edge, and I had to have one. So I instantly went on
the Craigslist.
Yes. Yeah. It just snagged me up a little $1,100 240Z, and
man, when I saw this car, I think the word you described when this car came to you, the guy must have been some sort of Bondo wizard.
Yeah.
Was the words that you used. What shape was the body in when you got this?
I spent $1,100 on the car, and this was my first classic car. So I did the old knock on the fenders and stuff like that. Looked underneath. I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew I wasn't getting a nice car, but I kind of wanted to do like a, pull it all the way apart anyways, do like a resto mod, kind of just do a junkyard LS, springs and slicks, and call it a day. It really snowballed just because the car was in such poor condition. Tomorrow will be 4 years to the day that I bought the car.
Oh my God, that's how long the process took. This isn't just for Global Time Attack. You plan to run it up a little mountain in Colorado called Pikes Peak?
Yeah, a little one, yeah. How Pikes Peak came to be is I bought the car, I took it all apart. It was garbage. The car sat for probably 3-4 months. A little bit of depression set in where it was just too gnarly. There was no repairing this car.
Completely.
So then one of my passions was motorcycles, and I always wanted to race Pikes Peak
on a bike?
2 wheels. Yeah.
Whoa.
And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, let's build a real legit car to go up Pikes Peak with and keep the vision and try something.
How did you go from like regular body to carbon fiber?
I used to own my own composite company years ago. I was never really able to do anything for myself. And then this snowballed. I really wanted to kind of give it a go and really flex my carbon fiber skills.
This isn't a wrap either, right?
It would be so much easier if it was.
I saw you could see here where you maintain the A pillars.
Yep.
That's actually factory, but the roof itself is actually true carbon fiber.
Yeah, the whole roof's carbon, except for 1-inch trim line all the way around just for the roof to bond to. Really the only thing that's left of the Z is the bulkhead itself and what the door is attached to. I built it for Pikes Peak spec. So I kind of wish I was able to keep the stock shock towers for Global Time Attack.
I saw that too.
But there wasn't much shock tower left.
Completely.
So it would have been really unsafe to have it.
Everything in the front is carbon fiber,
Right.
correct?
Yep.
I noticed the orange on the splitter. That's kind of your signature deal, right?
I mean, I've always raced KTMs, and I've kind of brought that into four-wheeled racing.
So this is KTM orange.
I guess you could say, yeah.
Let's talk about the aero. Is this Andrew Brilliant or wind tunnel?
I am working on a budget. I did build this thing out of a 700 square foot garage.
That's so amazing.
Yeah,
that deserves
cheers.
one of these for that. So it's definitely not tried and true, but it's definitely based on what the other teams are doing, because I see the dive planes here, and I see the canards. There's a couple little tips and tricks I see that you're doing. Also wanted to ask you, no difference between 260 and 280, correct, in terms of the body?
I'm not a traditional Z guy,
yeah.
so there's definitely going to be people that post like,
they'll blow it up and go,
but it's got a different,
yeah. This and that. I know there's like the 2.4, 2.6, 2.8.
I will say these are for the Z guys out here. This is a 240, so.
What wheels are these?
These are BC forged wheels, my good buddies over there. 18 by 10.5s in the front, 18 by 11.5s in the rear. So I'm running Toyo RRs, 295 front and 315 rears.
Does this tire compare to a fast, unlimited tire in like a Global Time Attack or a Pikes Peak?
Well, I'd definitely like to run a slick in the future. That's definitely where I need to be. Toyo has some slick options. I just need a little bit wider rim in the rear to run their 335.
Okay.
So far, the grip is insane on this car.
So you've already shaken it down.
Yeah,
and
we've
tested
tracked it a few times. To my surprise, you know, there really wasn't much to do.
Love the side skirts here, APR mirrors, carbon fiber. This has kind of a motorcycle vibe to it. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the same logo I ran running
really?
on my bikes. Oh. Yeah, it's my droopy dog.
Yep.
I've had him for a long time.
Love the all Lexan windows.
Yep.
Oh, okay. What wing is this in the back here?
I made my wing just pure necessity. I just couldn't afford to pay someone at the time to build a wing, and definitely think the faster the car gets, I'll probably end up going with like a APR like dual element.
A dual element or a triple element.
Yeah.
It has the gurney flap to it. It's got a nice shape to it. Solid chassis mounts here. Obviously, you made this stuff too.
Yeah, they don't really make parts for this car. Taillights are stock, but that's pretty much
That's
it.
pretty much all that's left. Not even the headlights are left because you got the carbon fiber buckets on it.
Yeah, my buddy Kyle, with the 240Z that you guys did.
Oh, that's Kyle Kuhnhausen, yes.
Yeah, he made those little...
Oh, the garnishes on the taillights? Wow, unbelievable. Can you open the trunk lid?
Yeah.
How about the overall weight on this?
I don't remember the exact weight.
You guys scaled it?
Yeah, we weighed it about a month and a half ago, and it was 2550 something. Yeah,
wow.
It's super light car.
Rich, you're crazy enough to travel with this man all the way around the country?
Someone's got to help him drive, right?
What? Is this a bolt-in cage? Is that what we're looking at here? Is this?
Yeah, I got ordered offline.
Obviously, you did all the fabrication here and everything. How big is this fuel cell on this one?
12 gallons.
Is this enough for Pikes?
Well, for Pikes Peak, we're going to be turboed.
This is a flex fuel then. So you can kind of set it up to run both. So.
It's not flex fuel now, but yeah.
It will be with the turbo setup. Obviously, you like...
Because I'd like to run E85 with Time Attack.
What sort of fuel system are you running here?
Man, it's one of the nicest pieces on the car. It's an Aftermarket Industries FC1200. Got Bosch fuel pump in it. This thing works flawlessly.
Bosch 44?
Yep.
Yep, okay. I like this. Safety third here.
Yeah, my SPA setup.
Do you mind opening the door and we can get into it? This is the one thing that I noticed from your build threads. This is what's called a NASCAR bar.
Right.
And this is what's called an FIA bar, which is still for wheel-to-wheel, but arguably maybe not as safe.
I felt for me, this is such a small car that running like a conventional X style is just too tight. My elbows are going to be on it.
So the X actually will come up and you could see it on the other side where it actually
your elbow's going to be on that bar. It's tight in there for sure.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean, these are little cars. You throw a cage in them and
completely.
They're real small.
So now you obviously want the cage to protect you, safety cell style, but you don't want it to intrude on your visibility or your driving position. Sawbelt seat and harnesses. This is like super FIA spec here, man.
My good buddies, Eric over at Sawbelt USA, they were on board pretty much from the get-go, and these seats are super nice.
Fixed back carbon fiber bucket. Tell me about your pedal box a little bit here. This is
let me hook you up with some light.
What?
So my buddy Jesse at Level 7 Performance, he came and wired the car, and he's like, we're going to put interior lights in this thing. 3 o'clock in the morning at Pikes Peak, you can't see anything, so you're going to want to make sure that you have the car lit. I got an OBP pedal box. That is probably the single most beautifully machined piece in the car. It's got a drive-by-wire Corvette pedal that I kind of rigged. I had a different pedal box in it, and it just was super cramped having the master cylinders on the back side.
Yes. What about your steering wheel? So we got the pedals, we got the seat, we got the steering wheel. It's got its own little hanger. Let's just go. You're so cool in every way.
Yeah. So I'm running a Woodward, quick release, and then a sawbelt wheel. Simple setup, but super effective. That steering column is I got it on eBay, but it's out of a NASCAR.
Dash, I believe, is custom, correct?
Yep. Obviously, a factory dash wouldn't fit.
Yes.
I kind of shrunk down width-wise the factory dash, made a mold.
For the purists here, there's your nod to the factory Z dash and the dual, the 5-element little
Yeah,
gauges.
I even kept the factory VIN.
What?
Just to pay a little homage to to what's left of the car.
And then what's this? Is that a name display?
Yeah, that's the Solo 2.
Oh, nice.
Data loggers.
Ah!
I know, it's over the top.
Can I go in through the other side?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the shifter now.
Yeah, so I've got a built T56 transmission.
Okay.
I got a $600 transmission off Craigslist. Sent it off to Tick Performance. They immediately called me and said this thing looks like it's been in the bottom of the ocean. They put all new Viper parts inside of it. This is a super trick shifter. It just bolts onto the factory placement, but it converts an H pattern to sequential pattern.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. So that's a pretty easy fix, so you don't need a sequential box, essentially.
Poor man's sequential.
Okay.
Kind of coming from the motorcycle background, I'm used to using a clutch with a sequential pattern. So that's not too far foreign for me.
Nice little lightweight battery here. Who's this?
Yeah, anti-gravity. I think they're right around the corner.
Yep.
They sent that to me, and I'm like, this sounds like a shameless plug. I thought it was fake.
This can't start a car.
No, but it weighs nothing.
Can we open the hood?
Yeah, let's open everything.
So light. Okay,
Typical
wait a
LS.
minute. I know nothing about cars, but I'm just still gonna put you on blast. No L series, no 2.4.
I would have loved to put a 30,000 L series motor in this thing. I would have loved to put an RB motor in it. When it comes to like motor combinations and chassis, like I'm a purist. That being said, this car's American made.
Fair point.
So we got to put screaming bald eagles in this thing. But no, it's just because of necessity. I mean, if I'm at Road Atlanta and I have a coil pack go, it's going to be really hard getting a 2JZ alternator. Or
Is this an L33, the
Yep.
Silverado 5.3?
yeah,
So-
all aluminum motor.
and the T56, what is the weight difference?
I think it's less than 75 pounds between the factory motor and transmission and a T56 and the L33.
And you're getting how much power out of this?
We dynoed it 360 somethings, 370,
A solid 370 to the wheels, close to
Yep.
400 crank horsepower.
which is not the most impressive number in the world,
No,
right?
but super reliable.
Right, super reliable and 2,500 pound car.
Exactly.
That's the secret sauce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remove weight, add performance.
This is the HO motor, so it's got flat top pistons. It makes a little bit more power than your standard junkyard 5.3, iron block. We have poured in polished heads, big Brian Tooley Stage 3 cam, kind of all the bolt-ons, made the headers, long tube headers.
Please go to tackingtheclock.com and see, like you had a post where it was just the fab work on it. It's almost a shame
Yeah, I
to
know.
wrap these,
Yeah.
but obviously it's a very tight engine compartment. How was the fit when you built all the cage around it? Because this isn't quite a standard swap.
Originally, when I had just the motor, and there was tons of room, but you start adding things onto it. You take those carbon fiber inner fender panels out, and you can really get to just about anything.
What kind of radiator you got going on here?
I'm running a CSF triple bypass.
And then what kind of fan is this sitting on
It's
this?
a spow fan. I'm running two coolers, oil cooler and a power steering cooler. And the cool thing about the shroud is that I had to have this. I really wanted not only the functionality, but I think this was like a really cool piece for the car. Turn 1 power steering pump, HPS, it's got all the silicone on the car.
Yep.
It's all vibrant connectors, AN fittings and hoses.
So the car's name is Big Booty Judy.
Yep.
And this is Large Marge. I like that theme. I'm kind of I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Yeah, this is necessity. Coming from two-wheeled racing, you typically pit where your trailer is, and four-wheel racing, you typically can't park your trailer. You have to usually dump the car and then park your trailer somewhere else. So this basically, I'm able to roll this right out of the trailer by myself. I've got everything I need. I got floor jack in there. I've got spare differential in there.
Would you be willing to put it up on the lift and pull a wheel off of it and
Sure.
See what it does?
Yep.
Shawn, now that we got the wheels off, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. First of all, why does the exhaust do what it's doing over here?
It's for packaging reasons, and I guess a little bit of it is just style points. Probably side exits, probably not the most efficient, but I did want a flat bottom. Just for the cool factor, I really wanted side pipes. The frame just basically hugs around the transmission and drive shaft, so I really never made any room for an exhaust. And that loop is just to make sure I've got some length on the exhaust.
So now, what are we looking at here for brakes?
I just got Willwood 4 pistons up front. The brakes are that's something I'm gonna have to work on in the future. It's one of the brake kits that I started with when it wasn't this car, so I definitely need a bigger brake package.
What size rotor is this?
It's like 11 1/4. It's a pretty small brake setup.
And your wheel setup will afford you a larger.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna probably end up doing is running somebody's like off the shelf like 370 or 350Z kit. I'm running 18s. I got a lot of rooms.
And then what are we looking at here for suspension?
So I'm running basically an off-the-shelf S13 ZR coilover from BC Racing, 3-way adjustable coilover setup on Swift springs. On that, we're running S13 base suspension.
What does that mean now?
I wanted something at the time of the build that I could get parts easily for. You can get S13 parts anywhere. The problem was getting grip parts. Everything's set up for drift.
Everything is a Weissfab
Yep.
steering angle kit, essentially.
So I'm running basically a braced and modified S13 cross member. I made these arms, basically took some factory arms, put Heims on the end. boxed
KTM
them.
orange?
Yep. But I'm running SPL parts, arms in the front and rear. I had a FDF Fab make me some custom knuckles, and these are a grip setup, so it's got like a 25% better grip. My favorite thing about the grip knuckles is that I'm running 350Z OEM hubs. And what's cool about that is they bolt on as opposed to like a normal spindle, which takes a bearing and all that other stuff like that.
Also, I happened to notice this just now. Why is there wiring going into your brake cooler?
I'm running brake duct fans. Air easily passes through it when they're not on, but when they are on, instead of cutting circles around in the hot pits to cool the brakes down, I can just park the car, run the fans, let it cool down. And for Pikes Peak too, you need better cooling. So that was me more or less forward thinking about Pikes Peak.
Completely. No. We can see the chassis setup point. How close are you to the factory mounting point?
It's actually outboard, probably 4 or 5 inches. The car is as wide as a 240 SX, but it's got 240Z wheelbase. So it's like a shorter, wider car.
Yes.
They make a lot of correction angle kits aftermarket for S13 parts, because once you lower these things, the geometry gets kind of wacky. So what I did is whenever I set up the geometry in the car, I put it at factory angles, but the car is almost essentially like body drop. So I don't have like a crazy angle. A lot of my arms are really flat. You'll notice with most S13s, if you crawl underneath, this arm is pointing up.
Yeah, exactly. Is that your sway bar setup? That thing's nuts too.
Kind of a
what is
NASCAR
this?
style sway bar. Again, another tight package part.
Getting underneath, you don't see much here. So this is a true flat bottom then.
This is not like a fully finished aero package car. We're gonna learn, figure some things out, make some adjustments, and kind of grow with the car.
What time is your goal for Road Atlanta?
To get out of there with the car in one piece and have a blast. So
you want to have a good time, essentially.
Yeah. I really want to make sure this year dialing the car in is not about winning races or breaking records. It's just about having fun, getting some data, and then that way next year we can really hit it hard.
I just love everything about the way that you approach this build, the way that you built it in a barn, the way you documented it on attackingtheclock.com. Super excited to see you. Can I jump in the truck with you to go to Road Atlanta?
Sure, for sure.
So cool.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you very much.
Always come prepared.
Dude, your toolbox opens beers too?
We did become best friends.